Okay, tonight's story is a continuation of The White Snake. We'll be reading parts 4, 5, and 6. The story of the White Snake. Part 4. The Pharmacy in Zhenjiang. Bai Sucin and Xu Shen were the happiest of married people, and they did everything together. After they had been married for a short while, they decided to move to Zhenjiang so that Xu Shen could open his own pharmacy. Zhenjiang was a big, bustling city at the southern bank of the Yangtze, not far east from where Nanking is today. Bai Sucin pretended that she was a wealthy orphan whose inheritance was more than enough to help Xu Shen fulfill his dream. In reality, she and Xiaoqin used magic to steal money from wealthy families. They never stole too much for one house, so the thefts were rarely noticed. In no time at all, Xiaoqin and Bai Sucin had stolen a small fortune. In the busiest part of town, they bought a building. They lived upstairs and ran the store downstairs. Strangely enough, everyone who bought medicine from Xu Shen's pharmacy completely recovered from sickness. Bai Sucin herself examined the customers who came in. Even though Zhenjiang was a big city, it had no female doctor, especially such a beautiful one. Not only that, but Bai Sucin cured patients no other doctor could cure. People soon beat a path to their door to get examined and buy medicine. Business was booming. The god of fortune himself seemed to be looking after Xu Shen. It was not long before Bai Sucin became pregnant. Even Xu Shen couldn't believe his luck. He had a beautiful wife, a beautiful maid, coffers filled with gold, and now he was soon to be father. But nothing good on earth stays that way forever. Other pharmacists, jealous of Xu Shen, spread a rumor. "That Bai Sucin is probably an evil monster," they said. "How could such a beautiful female doctor be mortal?" The rumors spread and spread until they finally reached even the Gold Mountain Monastery, a famous monastery south of Zhenjiang on a high mountain. It was a massive complex with red roof tiles and yellow walls. Thousands of monks lived there. How many, no one knew, but one thing was certain. All the monks there had achieved a high degree of learning and spiritual training. The abbot's name was Fahai, and his level of spiritual training was so high that no one knew the full extent of his powers. When Fahai heard the rumor about Bai Sucin, he was indignant. How dare an evil monster live so close to their monastery? Such contempt! He felt that he had to investigate and expose Bai Sucin's masquerade. One morning, the pharmacy was doing business as usual, and people were lined up outside to buy medicine. Suddenly, an old monk appeared at the door. He was very tall and had snow-white hair. He didn't say a word, but stared intently at Bai Sucin, who was examining customers. Xu Shen had just come downstairs, and the monk looked piercingly at him as well. "I am Fahai, the abbot of Gold Mountain Monastery. Young master, let's go somewhere quiet outside and talk," he said to Xu Shen. "Master Xu, I was walking by your pharmacy and saw the aura of evil spirits, but you do not have that aura," said Fahai once they were outside. "But Master Fahai, where are these evil spirits you speak of?" "The evil spirit is with you all day. It is your wife. I just saw her." "Master Fahai, please don't kid around about my wife." Xu Shen was very unhappy. Not only did he love Bai Sucin, he respected her. "Great Buddha, how could you be so blind? The Dragon Boat Festival is approaching. On that day, let your wife drink too much wine. Then you will believe me," said Fahai, and he got up to go without so much as saying goodbye. Part 5. The Dragon Boat Festival. The Dragon Boat Festival was on the 5th day of May, just as summer began. Because the weather was warming up, people believed that poisonous insects and snakes came out of their winter hibernation. That is why on that day people drank Shunhuang wine. This special wine contains sulfur, and was said to kill or sicken poisonous creatures and cure their bites. All poisonous creatures, therefore, feared sulfur. Because the day of the festival was approaching, and Shunhuang wine would be everywhere, Bai Sucin and Shao Qin had to plan what they would do. Shao Qin suggested going to the mountains for the day to hide. "I can't. If Master doesn't see me every day, he's sure to be anxious," Bai Sucin said. "Then what are we to do? On that day the odor of sulfur will be everywhere. I won't be able to stand it," said Shao Qin. "You go to the mountain by yourself," said Bai Sucin. "I'll stay here with my husband. It should be no problem. I have 1,000 years of training. I think I'll be able to stand it." The day of the Dragon Boat Festival finally arrived. Every household made food and wine for picnics at the dragon boat races, which were held on the Yangtze River. Shao Qin had left for the mountains the day before, where she found a cave. She prepared to rest for a day. That morning, Bai Sucin said that she wasn't feeling well and wanted to stay in bed. Shu Shen came in quite often to check on her. The clerks at the pharmacy had prepared a feast, and Shu Shen sat with them drinking. He suddenly thought about Fa Hai's advice. How could that monk think my wife is an evil monster? He must have been spouting nonsense. "I'll bring her a little wine," thought Shu Shen to himself drunkenly. With a large glass of Shunhuang wine in each hand, Shu Shen staggered upstairs and into Bai Sucin's room. "Wife, come! A toast to you!" said Shu Shen loudly. "I can't drink wine right now," Bai Sucin replied. "You know I don't feel well today." "You caught a bit of a cold. Drinking a little wine would do you good, and drinking by myself is no fun. Besides, today's a festival. Everyone should be happy." Shu Shen seemed a bit angry. "He's right. Drinking alone is no fun. I should be able to stand one glass." Bai Sucin thought to herself. "All right," she said. "I'll join you for one glass, but just one glass." Shu Shen toasted his wife, and they drank together. "Why don't you sleep? I'm leaving, but I'll be back soon." So saying, Shu Shen weaved his way downstairs. "That monk really cannot be believed," he said to himself. The taste of sulfur gave Bai Sucin an unbearable headache. Immediately she felt nauseated but drowsy. Dropping her wine cup, she barely managed to pull herself into bed before she fell asleep. Slowly, she transformed into her original shape, a big, white snake. After their feast, the pharmacy clerks went to the river to see the boat races. Shu Shen didn't want to leave his wife, so he didn't go. He drank more, but felt lonely, so he lumbered upstairs again. "Are you asleep?" "I'll lay down next to you," said Shu Shen drunkenly, getting into bed. He felt something strange around his legs, so he drew back the sheets. When he looked down, Shu Shen saw the enormous tail of a white snake in bed with him. He was so scared that he couldn't breathe, and his heart beat so violently he felt that he would burst. He jumped out of bed, yelling, "Snake!" The sound of Shu Shen's terrified cry woke Bai Sucin just in time to see him collapse, literally scared to death by what he had seen. "Oh no!" she wailed, seeing him lying on the floor, perfectly still. The sun was setting when Shao Qin returned. The pharmacy was unusually quiet. The clerks are probably still out, thought Shao Qin. She went upstairs and saw Bai Sucin crouched above her husband, sobbing. "Shao Qin, I shouldn't have had that cup of wine. What are we going to do? Can we save him?" "He's not breathing," said Shao Qin regretfully. "Unless you go to the Spirit of the West and get the elixir of immortality, he can't be saved." "The elixir of immortality?" "Yes, I'll go to Kunlun Mountain," cried Bai Sucin. "But what if the Spirit of the West won't give you any? It only gives such a gift to human mortals, and very few at that." Shao Qin was skeptical. Then I'll steal it, said Bai Sucin desperately. Steal it? No! No one has ever done that before. It's too dangerous. Don't go, pleaded Xiaoqin. But Bai Sucin had made up her mind to save her husband, no matter how dangerous it was. She loved Shu Shen so much she would even go to Kunlun Mountain for his sake. With the elixir of immortality, Bai Sucin and Xiaoqin could be gods because they were already so close to attaining immortality. But Bai Sucin didn't even think of this. All she wanted was to save Shu Shen. If I don't return in 3 days, I'm dead for sure. You can then return to Omai Mountain alone, said Bai Sucin, clasping Xiaoqin's hand. You'll come back, mistress. You'll come back. May the gods protect you, said Xiaoqin, weeping. Part 6. Kunlun Mountain. Bai Sucin rode a cloud to Kunlun Mountain and thus reached it very quickly. She began to ascend the mountain. After a while, she had almost reached the river near the top of the mountain. Halt! Said a voice like thunder. What kind of puny snake spirit is it that dares come to Kunlun Mountain? In front of Bai Sucin, a god as tall as a 3-story house materialized. Its appearance was truly ferocious. It had a green face, red hair, and teeth the size of a man's head. Its eyes, which were as big as balls and bulged from its face, immediately saw through Bai Sucin's disguise. I am from Omai Mountain. I humbly beg the spirit of the West for the elixir of immortality. Bai Sucin was so scared she could only stutter. Ha ha ha! The ferocious spirit opened its huge mouth and laughed uproariously. A little snake spirit like you comes to Kunlun Mountain to steal the elixir of immortality from the spirit of the West. Ha ha! That's rich. It seemed the spirit could read minds as well. Bai Sucin knew the spirit was not about to let her pass. She quickly pulled out her sword and stabbed it, but it was so big that she only injured its leg. The spirit was not seriously wounded at all, but it was extremely incensed at Bai Sucin. It reached out one huge hand and took the sword from her as easily as one takes a toy from a baby. With its other hand, it grabbed hold of Bai Sucin and lifted her close to its face. After looking at her closely, it shook its head, saying, "Too small for a meal, but enough for a snack." So saying, the spirit raised Bai Sucin to its mouth. "You must not harm her," said a voice behind them. It was a friendly-looking old lady. She seemed harmless, with her white hair tied neatly in a bun, her face wrinkled. But the ferocious spirit listened to the old lady and set Bai Sucin gently on the ground. "The elixir of immortality is only supposed to be given to humans," said the old lady. "But your love for your husband has touched the celestial ruler. He has ordered me to give you what you ask for. I will give you enough elixir for one person." She gave Bai Sucin a gourd. "Give this to your husband, and he will come back from the dead." So thank you, Bai Sucin said, throwing herself at the old lady's feet. She was too overcome to say more, and dare not ask the old lady if she was the spirit of the West. Tears of grateful thanks streamed down her face. And that was the end of part 6. We will finish there for tonight. Thank you for listening. Good night, everybody.